Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. Thanks for joining me. For me, on this very cold morning, it's going to feel good to start moving and revving up my body a little bit, getting it warmed up from the sub-zero temperatures here in Iowa. So let's begin our transitional time. Have your block between your legs, if you will. Come forward on your chair. And just begin to disassociate from your environment a little bit so you're no longer, involved in the goings on of your household, that you just bring yourself into the more intentional space that you're in terms of yoga. So we start with, as we always do, with just this intentionality of connecting the body, mind by way of the breath. So you're starting to notice your breath. You're going to start coming into a place that feels like you're using good posture. And for me, the key to that good posture is lifting your chest cavity up. I think overall, I think we could all agree that the trap we fall into when we're not paying attention to our posture is allowing our chest to sort of sink down, our shoulders roll forward. So to lift your chest cavity up, it might be a universal way of coming into better posture for yourself. So feel yourself into your pelvic area. So I want you to kind of move a little bit, shimmy a little bit side to side so you can start to feel the bony prominence there. That's the sit bones. And then balance that out. Find the place where that feels balanced, right to left, left to right. And that you're fairly centered in the chair. All that kind of stuff matters. Sometimes we just get a little bit off center, and then all of a sudden we feel our body sort of shifted in ways that we didn't intend. So make sure you feel centered in the chair itself. And close your eyes if you haven't done that yet. And then really focus now on keeping your body upright, very strong and sitting, tall, balanced in the pelvis. And then finding the fullness of your breath. So noticing the whole thing, the full inhale and the full exhale. And today, for our breath practice to bring us into this transitional time, I think it's really helpful when we use something specific rather than just a normal breathing pattern, but we do something a little more specific. I'm going to have you use that alternate nostril breath. If you like to use the mudra, this is the traditional way this is done. And that is that you have your right hand in use. That's the hand I'm using. I know it looks like I'm using my left to you, but this is the right hand is in use, and your thumb and your ring finger are what plugs the alternate nostril. So you just sort of lay down the middle finger and the index finger down towards your hand, and then that's the plug. That's a way to do it. I'm going to encourage you actually to do it that way today if you're able. You can always do it with intentionality, just imagining it. That is an option. But if you're game, I'm going to encourage you to actually use the hand position. So we're going to use that mudra. So let's start by inhaling through the left nostril and exhaling through the right. So you'll be switching a lot. Inhale left, exhale right, and just keep on switching. So the inhale can come through your left nostril, exhale right, stay with it. I'll kind of take care of when it's time to change, and you'll just keep breathing in on the left and out on the right. Full breath in on the left and out on the right. Sit up tall, eyes closed, really useful here. Focus on the breath, moving from left nostril to right nostril. Try to breathe all the way in and then all the way out as best you can. It'll deepen over time, but for now, you're going to try to encourage that full breath in and the full breath out. Next time you're exhaling on your right, stay there and turn it over. Inhale on that right side and switch so your exhale comes out the left. Inhaling right and exhaling left. And just using your thumb and your ring finger, just like we've been doing, to change the plugging of the nostril. So it makes it easy. You can really feel it very, very intentionally. I think it deepens the breath a little bit with the plugging. We'll be cleansing out the nostril a little bit. Inhaling right Exhaling left, eyes closed if you're comfortable with that. It's a full breath in, we're encouraging, and a full breath going out that left nostril. And you're balancing. That's what you're doing. You're balancing the right side, left side of your body, the energy streams, the associations of the left part of the body and the right part of the body in terms of your overall sense of being, how you operate in the world. Stay with it. Inhaling and exhaling. One more good breath from the inside, from the right, and exhale from the left. And let's just drop our hands now and just breathe normally. Flip your hands open so palms are open on your lap in that gesture of receptivity, opening our hands in this posture that says, I am open to receive the benefits and blessings of this practice that I've come to today. And then let that open palm experience help you to, identify for yourself, well, what did I come here for? I wonder what I need. And maybe you came all ready to go. You know that going in. I love it when that happens. I'm sitting down for yoga and I'm just ready to go because I know exactly what I hope to, come to with this embodiment experience. Stay with that inquiry, even if it's fuzzy, or it seems like it's not even worth mentioning, like that's not any big deal. But just honor yourself that whatever it is. That's why you came. Let's focus in on the mouth now as we sort of settle in. We're just about ready to start our movement, but I want you to relax your tongue, soften through the jaw. You're not gritting your teeth at all. So you're mindful of how you're holding your facial muscles and particularly how you're relaxing into your mouth. So there's no tension there because it's just such a waste of our energy to do that. It doesn't help anything, but it's a habit. So soften around the mouth, the lips, tongue. You can see I didn't quite get my camera the way I wanted to be. Okay. All right, everybody now open eyes and let's come into starting our movement. So we've got that block between the thighs. You can make sure that your feet are straight. You didn't accidentally keep one in front of the other, but they feel parallel and they're straight. Inhale with me, just lifting up those straight arms with no bend in the elbow. Palms are facing forward. So it feels like a full body stretch. You're pushing your feet to the floor. You're lifting up through the rib cage, all the way through the length of your body into the arms. That's your big inhale. Exhale brings it all down. So just let's move into the shoulders, inhaling up and then exhaling down. So we start, matching up the vinyasa of our breath. Inhale takes care of that lift and the exhale brings us down. Inhale up. I'm going to switch it now to exhale into the T shape. That means our palms will face up. And so our movement is just from inhale with the arms up to an exhale with the arms extended in a T shape. A little turn of the hand. So see if you can make sure you're incorporating that little turn of the hand. I think I'm going faster than I want to, so I'm just going to remind you, you follow your breath. Remember, you want the full inhale and the full exhale. So don't try to match up with me. That's not always reliable. Soften around the neck. It's real tempting to sort of scrunch up those shoulders around your neck. See if you can override that. So that's not happening. We're going to meet in the T, and this time I want you to turn so your palms are facing out, like as if you're trying to press against the walls on either side of you. Press out. And keep your hands just like that, the flexed position of the wrist. And we're going to just switch by stretching those arms up and down, but they stay flexed. And it's alternate movements. Now, what you're going to do with your head, I want you to play around with that. Maybe you're going to turn your head to look up. Maybe you kind of like the downward movement, that as you bring your hand down, that's the direction, or you're trying to do a little bit of both. Keep those hands really flexed and do something about your drishti. How are you going to incorporate a little movement of the head here? Last time, extend those arms out again and now soften the hands and soften the wrists. I got like a little soft fist and I'm just circling around, just changing the direction often to release any tension in those wrists that we were holding in a flexed position for such a long time. Now gently bring your arms alongside your body. I'm just circling my way down. And there we are in our mountain pose with our palms facing forward right alongside the frame of the chair. Push your feet into the floor. Give that block a little squeeze and see if you can lift your chest up a little bit more. Can you feel your sit bones? Can you just see if there's any sensation about the bony prominence in the buttocks there? And then imagine you got that wall behind you, that image we've been using. So the back of your head is going to rest into that wall, and so are your shoulder blades. So it's an imagination thing, but it's real effective. I think you can almost feel that, but it's very useful in terms of finding right alignment, that spinal alignment. Deepen the breath, mountain pose. Good. Left arm is going to extend out, just stretch it out, out, and then cross it over in front of your body and just sort of tug it in. You're not twisting now. You're keeping your shoulders in the same squared away position. Don't twist, and stretch into that deltoid muscle and back into the latissimus dorsi there, that lats. And then we're going to get that elbow up and hold on to it. So hand is holding on to the elbow. The other hand is just reaching between your shoulder blades. You got a little frame around your head. Push your feet down and get this to be a full body stretch. And now it's like your armpits are lifting you up. Breathe all the way through the breath. That's kind of, the simplicity of yoga really is that when we just posture ourselves, create a little shape that stretches us a little bit, and then we breathe into it. We give a full breath in and out. It's like, who knows that could be so incredibly potent in our body. To let that breath be felt all the way through your armpits and the sides. When we come out of it, use like a backstroke to do that. We're going to do another backstroke. That felt so good. So come up and exhale as you come all the way around. And then we're going to go to the other arm. Just extend it, extend. Cross it over, pin it into your chest. Let's get this arm stretched out into the deltoid and the lats, wherever you feel it. Deepen the breath. Elbow up. But your hand is dropping. No, don't tuck your head. You know how tempting that is. I don't want you to duck your head so you can do it. So if you can't get your elbow back far enough, then you'll just make an adjustment. So that you're not ducking your head, but you're keeping your head in line with the spine, no matter what. You'll just make the adjustment with your arms, okay? Just make the adjustment with your arms so your head is held high. And then do your stretch. You're lifting yourself up and away from your hips. Those shoulders are coming up and away from the hips. You can feel that length. Full breath in and out. Each and every time. And to come out of that, we'll use that backstroke all the way around. Arms will come alongside the frame of the chair here. Pull back so chest is forward and you got that cow pose. You got that extended spine. Keep your head real neutral. When it's time to exhale, grab hold of your knees and let's pull the belly back in as we create this vinyasa of cow and cat. Moving the spine. Very familiar, so don't think, that you can tune out. I know this one, too easy. Keep your mindfulness in the body's experience because it's brand new every time. This is how it feels today. This is the blood flowing today. And you might, really try to feel the strength of it. It feels, if you're feeling very limbered up and some of these postures are very easy, then you just kind of want to really pull into the so that you're strengthening those poses. Maybe you hold them longer. Excellent. Keep your head down. Let's tuck that block underneath your chair and hang down for a forward fold. Let's go with this one this time. Stretch yourself forward enough that your armpits lay right over your knees. Try that one. Instead of going in between your legs, can you pull yourself away from your hips enough that you can lay those armpits right on your kneecaps? Now surrender the weight of your head. Big belly breaths, intentional belly breathing going on here. Full breath in, full breath out, and you're trying to feel the movement of the belly with each breath as you surrender the weight of your head down into this fold. Let's do one more like that. Come up one hand at a time on your thighs, squeeze your elbows into your waistline. I'll meet you halfway up. We'll work the perineum now. So press your hands into your thighs. Now, if you have a setup that you prefer, the legs a little further apart is kind of common that we've used. If you want to set that up, that's fine. But it's the same principles here as we try to lift the floor of the pelvis off the chair seat. And we do that consistently, time and again, toning that pelvic floor tissue. So the squeeze and hold is the action. You're contracting and holding that musculature, even though it feels like that it can't be that much, it can't be that, but it's very useful. We got some testimonies around our group that can say that it's measurable in terms of the change in that pelvic floor. Do at least three more where you've gone through the whole motion, lifting and holding and holding. Once you finish your three, then hold yourself nice and strong, keeping that diagonal line of the back body, and spread your wings now. Chest, chest, chest. So I'm trying to draw my shoulder blades back toward each other in the back. And those wings are spreading. And I'm all into my legs. I can feel it entirely in my thighs, even my pressure into my feet. And then let your arms kind of help you carry you all the way up. Palms will be together now. Inhale with me. Exhale, we'll bow. Inhale up and exhale. Let's come back into those flexed hands where you got your palms like pressing the walls on either side of you. And we're going to go back to that movement, keeping those arms in that flexed position. And just let the breath, find a breath rhythm here that supports this action. You go from the T shape to alternately moving one arm up and the other arm down. Last time, reach up, doesn't matter which arm, look up, look up. Let's get both hands up there now. Both hands are still pressing. It's the palm, not the fingertips, reaching toward the ceiling. And then we're going to carry ourselves forward into another forward fold. Try to lay your armpits over your kneecaps. Hang your head down. Big belly breaths. Stay with it until you feel the breath smoothing itself out. You've surrendered to the pose. There's no more resistance. You're in it. You're cooperating with it. Exhale completely. One hand at a time comes to the thighs. Squeeze those elbows into your waistline. Come all the way, all the way, all the way up. And let's do some shoulder rolls as a reset or anything else your body might need. Make sure you're moving your head a little bit. Excellent. Change the direction. If you haven't done that, make sure you do the shoulder rolls going the other way too. Keep trying to move your head. Just find ways that you can incorporate a little movement. Excellent. Let's get into the legs now a little bit. I'm gonna sweep up that left leg, hold the underside of my thigh, but bring yourself forward enough that you're still keeping that long spine. We're not doing this yet. We'll probably do that. But for now, keep yourself upright. So as you're holding that leg up, you're mindful that your spine is still very vertical. Let's get into the ankle here. We'll just spin around the foot. But keeping yourself upright is a real part of the intention here. Smooth out your breath. Try to move the toes. Try to bring your awareness to moving the toes. That's that mind-body connection into an area of the body we don't often connect with. We don't often have a little conversation with our toes. So you're trying to incorporate that new mind-body connection. Then we'll stop that movement and go into the knees. So the knee joint now gets to move laterally. So circling around. You know me, I like to use the strength of my arms to hold my leg here. So I offer that in case that appeals to you. I want to get as much as I can in terms of upper body strength. I just change the direction, so be sure you have changed the direction at least once. Nice lateral movement through your knee joint. And this is where we're going to lean back. So as you hug your knee into chest, we're switching to grab hold of the shins, pull in, pull in, pull in, and then hover the other leg, straight leg out. Now I'm in a more leaning back, balancing way to hold this. So there's going to be that. Now see if you can keep your head in line with the spine. Instead of pulling your head forward towards your knee, could you sort of lay back into it so you still come into the place where the back of the head is in line with the spine? Strong straight leg out in front of you. That's really pushing out. Alternatively, that heel could rest on the ground. That's still going to be nice workout for you. But if you can hover it, you're going to get a lot of good toning and strengthening of your belly wall. Let's get that foot back to the floor. You're coming back to that that very erect vertical space of your spine. So you're bringing yourself up so shoulders are stacked right above your hips, just hugging the knee in toward the chest. And we'll bring both feet to the floor. And then any reset you might need. If you need to catch up with your breath, maybe if you're like me, you need to get a Kleenex. All right, side two. We're going to start by working into the ankle, but very mindful that you're still holding yourself upright. Spine is vertical. Can you feel your sit bones? Now you're noticing your toes spreading. You're trying to bring that mind-body connection, spreading the toes, moving through your ankle, breathing. Let's get into the knee, circling the lower leg. Use the strength of your arms if that's your intention too. Remember, you're using the strength of your arms to hold that heavy leg. Now, when we hug the knee into the chest here, we're going to grab the shin. So interlace those fingers around. Now we're going to tilt back. But you're going to see if you can get that leg extended, straight leg out, push through the sole of your foot. I kind of push through my heel. And then you want to get the back of your head in line with your spine. Full breath in and out. So this is a pull and the push, and it serves as a balance, doesn't it? It kind of, while you're pulling your leg in, you're able to balance to extend that leg, the other leg out. Check in with your neck. You don't want tension there. Deepen the breath. We'll step that straight leg now down and bring yourself really upright. Really hug that knee in towards your chest and belly. And you're bringing your spine back to its right alignment, up and down, not tilting. And then let's come into figure four. So we're going to cross that leg into that figure four, drawing your heel in toward the crease of the leg. Let's kind of massage that a bit. I want you to get into your toes, please. Let's move the toes, spread them, use your hands to massage, maybe individually spread each, the toes apart. Pay attention to your feet, pay attention to your toes. Try to loosen up the tension of the toes by massaging, circling, spreading. So big emphasis on your feet right now, on your foot. Let's bring the chest down. I just got a hand on knee, hand on foot. I'm just trying to dive forward, trying to use the chest. Your face wants to take over, but try to emphasize the movement coming from your chest bone forward and back up, folding forward, feeling that stretch. Eventually, you start holding the stretch longer. You pulse forward and you really work on that. So you're going to be your own teacher here. You're the one that's inside your body as you're playing with this movement to see about coming forward, letting that chest bone lead the way as you fold into that bent knee. And boy, that opens the hip. It's a great stretch for your knee. So if you're thinking, man, all I feel about this is the knee, it's like that is part of it. That's a very big part of this. We're going to cradle the baby. So as you fold down, can you get a hold of yourself, holding onto your knee, holding onto your foot? You can do it like I've got it here with a kind of a cradle around with the elbow in use, but you could just hold it any way you want to get that leg up so that the shin bone is up, kind of almost horizontal. And then we rock, we cradle that baby. So we're going to move a little bit side to side. Be creative about it. Just move. You got your leg held up, so you're in some really, opening kind of experience here. You're opening up and inviting a sensation here that's very powerful. So you manage it and get some movement going that's connected to the breathing. Lay that back down, no arms now. I'm going to just hold onto my chair to make sure I stay there. And then practice the movement of getting from the figure four to foot on the floor. And all the way down. Now, if there's a reset your body now needs, this is where you want to do that. Some stretching, some kind of movement. We're going to go to side two. We're just going to hike that foot up there, bring it close to the crease, and start working your foot. So really pay attention now. I think that takes a little allowing, to allow this foot to soften, because there just seems to be this natural response of just sort of holding it in some tension, and see if you can allow your foot to soften and relax a little bit and move your toes, spread them, use your hands here. Lots of attention to the feet, the toes. Okay, we're connecting back to the breath. We're going to start our pulsing forward and back. Different on this side. I don't know about you. For me, this is the side where it's a lot more efforting. I feel the stretch quicker. Just a little tip. I'm just feeling it, so I want to share that. My knee can get fussy on this, and I found if I really hold on to my knee, I kind of take a grip. I open up my hand and just really hold on to my kneecap. It's very soothing. It feels like it's supporting my kneecap very well and proper, and so I'm not afraid of it. I'm able to come forward and back, and that little fussy stretch in my knee that I initially experienced is just much more subdued. I feel much more supported about it. Remember, we're going to hold it as we just play with our own experience of this, folding forward and maybe holding it longer, time after time. And then we're going to cradle the baby. So when you're ready for that, don't need to rush. So we're going to lift up that leg, trying to get your shin as upright, as up and into horizontal position as possible. And then we cradle, which means we're moving side to side, trying to find some fluidity, some fluid movement. How you hold your foot matters. So if you're something's not quite right, try flexing your foot very, intently flexing at the ankle and see if that makes a difference in your experience. Might be just the ticket, might be just the adjustment you needed. Keep breathing all the way through your breath cycle. And we're going to lay that back down on our thigh. No hands now, to practice that movement, this range of movement with our leg. When you got it up there in the cross-leg position, let's cross it over, just stacking. Make sure you're centered. Make sure you feel like your hips are centered, or your pelvis is centered on that chair seat, and those stacked knees are right up center. And we'll use this as our basic setup for a twist. So top leg tells us which way we're turning. We're going to turn our upper body toward the top leg, keeping your spine as vertical. Very, very tempting to really lean one way or another. So let's make that our effort, that we're going to see if we can do this in a way that's balanced right to left. There's no leaning involved. Even if it feels like our twist isn't nearly as deep as we're hoping it might be, but that we've instead incorporated the higher good of keeping your spine erect, very upright, no leaning. Breathe into your whole body. You want your breath to spread out through the whole body in its twist and turn and revolve position. I find myself breathing more strongly and using my mouth for the breath, just throwing that out there in case you're trying to suppress that. You don't need to, not in my opinion. Unwind your head. Keep breathing, keep holding your body in the twist, and then let your shoulders and arms come back. We'll just switch, get that leg uncrossed, cross the other side, center it all, balance in your pelvis, very upright. Should be twisting the other way now. We've been doing these twists a long time, so you might have, ways that you hold it. Maybe your back hand is pressing into the back body. I like that, wrapping your arm around you a little bit and you're just pressing into your own body, and the chair is not in use quite so much. Not that there's anything wrong with using the chair, but sometimes it's kind of fun to try different ways of supporting your twist. So really an effort to keep your body in a vertical position, that you're not leaning to one side. You can feel the balance left to right, right to left. That balance is felt in your pelvis. Let's deepen the breath. Make sure you exhale completely. When you unwind, it'll start with the head, and then the shoulders and the arms, and we'll get both feet to the floor. Quick reset of the body. Maybe right away I just felt like moving through the spine, so that just happened to show up for me. Whatever your body is asking for. But before we go to standing, let's do some movement with the legs and the arms. I love this straight legs, straight arms. So alternating. So we're getting so many benefits, that crossing over through this midsection like we do, that is very helpful for your brain activity. And this lifting up of the legs and extending arms, it's a strengthener. Good abdominal strength too. Try do two kicks before you go to the other side. And all the way up. When we exhale, try that W shape with your arms so you can, that delicious back bend. Inhale up. Exhale the W shape. Open up your chest. Your heart opens. Last time. Up. Exhale. Oh, yeah. Arms come all the way down. Boot yourself out of that chair. Do that 2 more times where you're just carrying yourself up with your balance and your strength capacity. When we meet standing up, we're going to need our block to help us align for our standing mountain pose. So I like to have that block between the lower legs in its lengthwise position. Again, make sure your feet are straight. Lift up your toes. See if you can spread them. We worked on them a little bit today. See if it's a little more within your means, that you can lift your toes up and you're spreading your toes a little bit. Good, and then lay them back down. Arms are right alongside the body. We're getting real strong with the belly wall. Unlock your knees. Just make sure you've taken that step to unlock the knees. And now I'm just giving you a tutorial of what I'm experiencing in my body. Pressing my heels down. I'm shifting that so it's not just my heels, but I can feel it in the balls of the feet and the toes too. I feel the squeeze of the shins in, and that opens up the hips. See if you can track the inner seam, the inner thighs, the musculature of your inner thighs, so that inseam. See if you can track that right up into the floor of the pelvis. For example, you're inhaling and you're tracking. You're kind of squeezing and feeling that run right up, that in action of the inner thighs, right up the inseam, up to the floor of the pelvis. You exhale, you sort of soften it all. That's one way to do that. Two more breaths. Nice strong mountain. Inhale up, palms will be together, look up. Exhale, we're bowing at the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, I want you to come back into that position where you're trying to stretch your palms to either side of the room, pressing. And again, we're going to just take those flexed wrists up and down. Goes from a T to up and down with those arms. Alternating. Finding a rhythm of your breath. Maybe, again, invite, how am I going to turn my head with all this? Turning to look, up or down, whatever works best. Meet with an arm up and look up, palm, palm, palm. You're trying to touch the ceiling with your palm. And the other hand, you're trying to touch the floor with your other palm. So you feel that big stretch. We'll switch to do it on the other side too. Reach the palm to the ceiling, the other hand, the palm to the floor. Breathe, stretch. And palms will come together overhead. Take our inhale, exhale, bow. Up, all the way around. Let's do that again. Up, exhale, all the way around. When you come down, interlace those hands behind your back. So you've got your fingers interlaced and you're pulling back to stretch your pec muscles. I love to think of it as the collarbone, that clavicle area, from this side of the shoulder all the way. You're expanding that. You're stretching the muscles that support that. Hands are back away from the back body. Knuckles are pulling back. Some of you might want to do the fold here, so I'll illustrate that with you if you want to do it. We're going to soften the knees like crazy. I'm going to try to do it with a block. I just want to challenge myself to keep the block there the whole time. And I bend the knees and I lift those knuckles up, and now I'm folding forward, eyes wide open. And that really opens the shoulders through the pull of gravity. Surrendering the weight of the head. Exhale completely. Do that one more time, full breath, and then an exhale completely. Then relax your arms down like ragdoll arms. Jump your hands to your thighs so you're above your knees. Squeeze your elbows in towards you, towards center. I got a little soft bend in the knee, and I'm trying to come up halfway. And then I'm starting to straighten. This is what I like about this. is I'm pushing into my upper legs, into my thighs, and it helps to straighten those legs up. So now the knee bend is kind of going away. I've got really strong, stretched out, lengthened legs as I hold myself in this L shape. Let's pull the belly in. Use those inner thigh muscles, those inseam muscles, to pull in toward the perineum so you can spread your arms away like wings. We did this when we were seated. Squeeze everything in toward the midline to hold yourself in this L shape. Look for the adjustments, shoulder blades, where you're holding your head. Breathing will help you identify those little adjustments. Exhale, forward fold, just hang like a rag doll. Lose the block. I'm going to just take it out from between my legs and tuck it under the chair. Jump your hands to your thighs and just come up with bent knees and come all the way up to standing. Inhale up, exhale, bow, and up and all the way around. All right, we're going to need the chair for support. I like the back of the chair. So however you like to position yourself, we're going to be moving the standing leg, which is the one near the chair. That's going to hold us. That's going to be our pillar. And the other leg is going to do the movement. Doesn't matter which one you start with. Start with a bent knee up and then move it out. So we're just coming up and out. So you're extending into an external rotation. What I just did, just so you know, I'm coming as far forward as I can and still have the chair because I want the space over here. So I'll show you in a minute. That's why I took a step forward. So we're externally rotating. And hold yourself up. You can direct it with your hand on your leg, or maybe you'd rather not because you want to just use the strength of your leg. Various ways. Hold it in that external rotation with the bent knee. Hold it however you want to. And then see if you can do it without the support of the chair, even for just a breath. Real flexed foot. That leg that's up in the air, real flexed foot. Let's get that leg down. Take a little pause. Maybe shake that out. Rest a bit. Deepen your breath. Get caught up with the breathing. And let's practice this on an internal rotation. So that high knee comes up, and instead of going out, we go in toward the chair. So internally rotating in your hip. Now, I find, see, this just goes to show how tight it all is, that the internal rotation carries me over there. My whole hip goes with it. I can't be specific enough in that stretch that the hip stays neutral. It's kind of going along with it, but I want to practice that. I want to see if I can develop more range like that, more strength through that internal rotation capacity. And how high you're holding your leg, I'm sure you've kind of come to this on your own, could vary. Let's try that hold and the internal rotation. So I'm directing it over toward the chair. Yowza, that's tight. And then see if you can just step down. So now you've got your feet in, the pinky edge feet are together. Now square that away. So your hips are square. You've just laid your feet in that cockeyed position where they're crisscrossed. Now find a mountain pose here. See if you can normalize this. You're normalizing this. Pressing your feet to the floor, squeezing at the thighs. And one hand at a time reaches those palms. We're going to just use our flexed hands. Palm reaches up, and the other palm's reaching down. Come back to center switch. Same position with your hand, very flexed, but the other arm is reaching up, and the other arm, you switch now. Palm reaching up, palm trying to stretch down. Now, if you need a hand on the chair, obviously that's what you're doing instead. One arm can be working, that'd be great. Move through your whole breath cycle. Come on down, and we'll shake all that out. I'm shaking through those knees. All right, let's get to side 2. So we're going to start with the external movement. We have a high knee going up and we move externally. Direct this any way you want. If you entirely want this all to be hands-free, that's great. You can direct it any way you want. Nice strong breath. We're going to hold it out there in this external rotation. Hold it. See if you can balance with that. Just invite that possibility. Find a drishti. Get your eyes focused. Beautiful. And then we'll come back to center and get both feet to the floor. I forgot about adjusting my chair, so I got the room over here. So shaking out, getting ready for the internal rotation, catching up with your breath. So that same leg up, and now we're moving it in toward the chair. So it goes from neutral, which is just straight out in front of the hip, and through the center. I don't know about you, but it's a much more limited movement, limited range. Hold it when you're ready. Hold it into that internal rotation. Keep breathing. Hold it over there. I got to just pull it over there. Keep breathing. And then we're going to put that foot down so you've crossed your legs. Pinky edge of the feet is what's close together. Square your hips. So we're normalizing this. This becomes our mountain. Palms stretch out. Let's start with that. We just stretch out. Palms trying to touch the walls on either side. And then we go up. Hold it as you stretch the palm up toward the ceiling. The other palm is stretching down toward the floor. You're breathing in and breathing out, squeezing your legs, feeling the whole surface of your feet supporting you. You know, you're your inner teacher, that inner guru Dev, we call it. So if I don't mention something, you follow the lead of your body. So switch now to the other hand. We'll find a new drishti. I like the looking up. Sometimes you might choose looking down, but I seem to favor looking up. Full breath in and out. Very active, both arms, very active. Trying to stretch the palm down, or the other hand stretching the palm up. Good. Let's come down. Get those arms back to neutral. Get your feet back to a neutral position. Shake your legs out. Kick them out. Let's do one little stretch before we come into Shavasana. Find the back of your chair. Stretch into your L shape. And then go for it. I mean, this might be inviting a squat for you. It might be getting another leg up in the air. I don't know. Just go for it. Stretch it out. Breathe and see what your body wants. Might get on your toes. Remember how we sometimes lift one heel at a time, like we're walking, and really moving through the whole foot, putting a little pressure into the ball of the foot. Very good for your foot. Very good to stretch that fascial layer, all that surrounds your whole foot. So just giving you some ideas. Deepen the breath, stretch it out. Let's start walking toward the chair. Nice and easy. Find your mountain pose once you arrive. Let's close the eyes now. Start to use your imagination. Squeeze your inner thighs as if the block is there. But you're imagining the block between your lower legs and you're squeezing those. Not, I said inner thighs, I meant shins. So we've got the block in the lower part of the leg, squeezing in to keep that block there. So lower legs, shins in. Keep breathing as you hold that, like that's the pillar of your support. that engagement of the legs into the shins, those shins in, squeezing the block, like, okay, that's the pillar of support for this right now. And then release it. Imagine you've released and softened that, and you move that block to now the inner thighs. And you're squeezing in through those inseams. But this time I want you to imagine that you're trying to pull the block up toward the floor of your pelvis. So you're not only squeezing in, you're also squeezing up or pulling it up. And you're going to feel that in the buttocks and in the pelvis in various ways. Deepen your breath and be there with this pillar of strength and support with the block between your thighs now. It's just imagine. You're just imagining it. Remember to complete your breath cycle. And then we'll exhale all the way out. That's a good one. Okay, it's time for us to come into our relaxation time. So perhaps you're going to get a second chair. I'm actually not going to get this chair over here. I'm going to use something else. So, you know what to do for, I'm getting socks on. Of course, if there's any movement your body's still looking for, we didn't do it, you might do something else because we've got a little time here and it's just us moving our way into Shavasana. So we get to use the time the way it serves us best. So I encourage you to listen to that in your body and do what your body needs as you make your way eventually to this time of relaxation, meditation. Relaxing now and, doing your body scans. As soon as you're all set up, got the support you need, you're able to close your eyes. I just want to keep encouraging you and coaching you to stay put, because when we come to the end of class, very tempting to kind of mentally check out. You got stuff you're going to do. You're ready, starting to ready that, by thinking it all through. But give yourself the benefit of this part of the class. It could be considered the most important part, where we really learn how to tend ourselves or tenderize. I have a teacher that uses that word. I think it's very clever. We use this time to tenderize. And it's all about the breath right now, right? That rhythmic, long, deep breath that is such a part of this relaxation of the body mind, because your mind needs to rest too. Step away from the screen. Don't worry, I'm still here. We're going to just relax now into our Shavasana, using the back of the chair or the surface below, that's supporting you in case you decided to stretch out on your couch or into a recliner. You're really noticing and surrendering to that support. The simplest things, right? That we can come into this awareness and be held by it and feel appreciative of that. Like, gee, that's so good. That feels so great to have this chair, to have this sofa. Feels so great. And you just surrender to that support, that simple amount of support for your body. And then when our body's at rest, it's so much better. It's so much more accessible, I should say, for your mind to rest. Let your mind rest too. Let's use the mantra. Inhale, you say the word in. Exhale, you say the word out. Just keeping your mind focused on the words so your mind can rest. It's a gift. It's a gift. Just keep your mind focused on these words. Your body, mind, and soul The very essence of you is at rest together as one. And did you know that is exactly what yoga means? The word yoga is a Sanskrit word of union, and the union of body, mind, and soul. Let's change our word. Use the word deep as you inhale. Use the word slow as you exhale. Breathe in deep and breathe out slow. Breathing all the way in deep. Breathe all the way out slow. Soften your mouth. Remember that. Make sure your tongue is relaxed. And we finally finish up with our favorite words of the mantra. Inhale, calm. Exhale, ease. And you start to feel that. You feel the calm and the ease of your body. Now I'm going to read what I sent out in the email to help us value, I guess, this capacity of forgiveness. I had been thinking about forgiveness, about its quiet power to dislodge the lump of blame from the thorax of time and fill the lung of life with the oxygen of the possible, about how you bless your own life when you forgive your mother, forgive your father, forgive the person for whom your love was not enough, forgive the person for whom your love was too much, forgive yourself over and over and over. Let's take a big breath in through the nose, exhale out with a sigh. So we start introducing movement as we use that cleansing breath, letting that sigh become a part of our transition. Feet back to the floor, take your time, but get your feet back to the ground, and that you, again, using your core strength now, aligning your spine in a very upright position. Another cleansing breath just for good measure. Let's lay your palm over palm on your heart. Eyes closed just briefly here. Just bringing your awareness into the heart space. That's where we come up with such beautiful ways of being as love and kindness and tenderness and forgiveness. Comes from here. With each inhale, try to expand those capacities. Notice them in your body as a felt experience, as an energy. Not just a thought, just a concept, but you can feel it. It's like all of those love, kindness, they have an energy of their own. And you can feel it. So exhale completely now, and we'll sync up our breath as we close out our class today. Thank you so much for joining me. Inhale with me, up, palms will be together. We lift up and look up. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale, back up. Exhale, let's share that beautiful heartfelt energy with our community all around us. Palm palms will come to the prayer position. We bow to ourselves and we bow to each other. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.